it's Jessii Vee, and I am very excited for today's video because I have not continued this series in such a long time. Do you guys remember when I did those videos called 10 Things Wrong with Blank? So I did The Little Mermaid, I did Cinderella, I did Beauty and the Beast, and those videos did really well and you guys seemed to love them, so I was really sad that I stopped. So today we're going to be continuing this series, and I would like to do this a lot more often, maybe once a week, maybe every other week. I really have to figure it out, but I think I love preparing for these videos and making these videos as much as you guys like watching them. So let's get this back started. Let's get this back started. Words. I also don't want to limit myself with 10 things because some movies might have 8 things wrong with them, some movies might have 20 things wrong with them. So I think we'll just call the series Movies. Get it? V's. Movies. It's like a thing, you know what I mean? You get it. I think that's such a cute name, and it makes this series a bit more broad because I can really talk about anything to do with movies. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, definitely do so because I think I'm gonna tweet the title of the movie that I'm going to be reviewing a few days ahead of time, and that way if you haven't watched the movie yet, you'll get a chance to watch it before you see a video like this, you know what I mean? And that way we're all kind of in the loop. But for the first few, I'm definitely gonna start off with movies that everyone has probably seen. Like, I'm sure most of you watching this have seen Tangled, and if not, you can just pause this, go watch it. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix right now, and then just come back here and finish this video. But before I get into today's video, I have a really exciting announcement for you guys. So you know how over the past few years, I've been doing a ton of meet and greets all over the place? And as much as I love doing those meet and greets and seeing all of you guys in person, it's also sad because not all of you guys have been able to go. Either you live too far away from the meet and greet or you're busy. So I have been given this really cool opportunity from YouTube, and I'm going to be doing an online meet and greet. So it's basically a virtual meet and greet that you can meet me in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to travel anywhere. So I'm gonna put the link to this online meet and greet down below in the description. It's going to be tomorrow, so Friday at 6 p.m. EST, and there's another one at 7 p.m. EST. Unfortunately, you can't pre-buy tickets. You can only get them at the exact time of the meet and greet. So definitely save that link in your browser, set an alarm on your phone for tomorrow because we can only have a limited amount of people in this meet and greet hour. So you want to be there right away and get your tickets right when it happens. There are 2 tiers of tickets. The first tier that you're gonna see is like a more lengthy meet and greet with me, like we get to hang out for a longer period of time talking. And the second one you see there is basically we say hi and we take an online photo together, and then that's it. So the first one's really long, the second one's kind of more brief. It all depends on what you want to do. I just think it's going to be a really cool experience. We're trying it out for the very first time, so definitely check out that link down below in the description and just wait until tomorrow, 6 p.m. EST and 7 p.m. EST, and I just can't wait to meet you guys. Okay, so let's get into 16 things wrong with Tangled. Now, I always feel like I have to do this tiny little disclaimer every time I make a video like this. I just want to say this is just for fun. If Tangled is your favorite movie ever, that's okay. I love the movie too. I know people like to say,
but Jessii, it's just a movie. You're supposed to suspend your disbelief for the movie. Why are you saying the thing's wrong with it?
I know that. As I like to say, it's just for fun. For right now only, we're gonna look at this movie very logically and see what is logically wrong with it. So for anybody getting mad about what I'm saying, it's just for fun. It's just a video, it's for fun. So some of these I came up with myself, and some of these I found on the internet. The first point, the king should have fired every guard in the castle after Rapunzel was kidnapped. And this is because Gothel, who was an old lady at the time, only had the point of entry of climbing up the balcony. And then she had to escape through the city carrying a crying baby. And the only way in and out of the city was through one bridge. So it's just crazy to me how she was able to go and do that when there were guards everywhere. How, if you think about it logically, would someone be able to do that? Like, if the guards are that clueless, does the king really want to have them around? Because they're obviously not very protective, so. Just something to think about, you know what I mean? The second point here, how exactly did Rapunzel get Pascale? It's clear Gothel not only knows of his existence, but it appears she would be mad if she found out Rapunzel even had a pet. But he's also a chameleon, which is clearly not from that climate. So if you think about it logically, he would have had to have been imported because there's no chameleons in that area. But Rapunzel would only get imported goods from what Gothel brings to her aside from whatever blows in the window. Like, it's literally just her in the tower tower, and whatever Gothel brings is what she gets. So that whole thing is confusing. Like, the chameleon is just like there? I don't know, it's just like an ongoing mystery. Next one. Rapunzel is just fine walking everywhere for days and days without shoes on. She has bare feet. And think about it, because she's been in a tower her whole life, her feet have never touched anything sharp or rough. She's only ever had like nice flooring or carpet. So her skin is probably so delicate, and she's just like running through the forest over sticks, over rocks, and she's just fine, never complains about it, never has any like cuts on her feet. It's just totally okay, and no one ever thinks about this or talks about this. And another point that kind of goes along with this, Rapunzel's magic hair never gets even a speck of dust, dirt, crud, tangles, knots, even though it pretty much drags behind her wherever she goes. Like, I just want to know, how is her hair not actually tangled? And the name of the movie is Tangled, so you'd think you'd see some tangles, but it's always just like beautifully flowing behind her, just snaking its way through the grass and the dirt and the mud. Like, if I sleep on my hair wrong, I wake up and it's like, whew. Actually right now it's not doing so well. I just washed it, and whenever I wash my hair, it just kind of like dries like a big fluff, you know what I mean? Next point, Rapunzel's technique of using her hair as like a weapon or a whip would never like work in real life. Like, if my hair, let's just say my hair all of a sudden grew 5 feet overnight and I wanted to use it as like self-defense or something, if I ever whipped that long, heavy length of hair, it would just like flop on the ground, you know what I mean? It wouldn't hurt anybody, it would just like poof on the ground. Like, the fact she can just like whip her hair so fast and it's like, pa-cha, is like, I don't know about that girl. Next point. Gothel waits a whole 3 seconds after calling for Rapunzel, only once, to let down her hair before uncovering the tower entrance she concealed years ago. So you know when she calls for Rapunzel and suddenly she freaks out because Rapunzel hasn't like let down her hair for her? So she literally goes and takes all the rocks and uncovers that hidden entrance. She only waited 3 seconds for Rapunzel not to reply, which is weird because earlier she waited around 30 seconds for Rapunzel to come to the window. And yeah, she has a bit more reason to fear something is up, but if she was wrong about this, she basically will show Rapunzel an alternate way out of the tower. So you'd think she would at least wait maybe a minute and then freak out? It just seems a little bit hasty to me. Next point. Are the guards really taking orders from a horse? Is that really happening in the movie? How did these guys not revolt when they heard that their boss was going to be a horse? Could you imagine just like training to be a guard? Like, that takes a lot. Learning how to fight, using a sword, and all of a sudden your boss is like, yeah, you know what? Just take orders from this horse, everything will be fine. You'd be like, wait, a what? Next point, which is something I've actually always wondered, and that's, how did Rapunzel not know she was the missing child? There's this missing princess baby with blonde hair and green eyes who looks exactly like her and has the same birthday as her. Why doesn't that spark any connections for her? And before you're about to say,
well, Jessii, no one ever recognizes himself as a baby. Like, we look different from a baby as an adult.
But that's how her parents recognized her at the end of the movie. They knew it was her right away just by looking at her face, so clearly she looks just like the baby. And in the animation, you can see their face side by side. It's like literally twins. If I'm taking this so seriously, like it's just a movie and I'm like over here like almost pulling my hair out. All right, next one. Did the king and queen seriously think this lantern festival would one day bring back their daughter to them? I just want to know, like, at some point did they explain to their 1-year-old daughter, like, hey, if you ever get kidnapped and you see lanterns, walk towards the lanterns? I don't think they ever went through that with their 1-year-old daughter before she was kidnapped. And even if they did, how is no one remembers anything from when they were 1 year old, you know what I mean? It's just like, how did they think she was gonna like look at lanterns and that would like click in her mind like, oh my gosh, those are my parents. All right, next one. Is there any reason in particular that Eugene didn't wait until after Rapunzel healed him to cut her hair off? Did he ever think that that would be a little bit more productive? It would save his life and then they could be together forever? Did he ever like even consider that in his mind? No, he had to go for the dramatic move because there always has to be those dramatic moves in movies. The dramatic moves never really make any sense, but they have like an emotional impact, so everyone watching is like crying like, oh my gosh, he loves her so much. And no one actually thinks like, hey, he could have waited like 5 seconds. You know what I mean? Next one. Why did Gothel tell Rapunzel what her actual real birthday was? Because think about it. Gothel's main plan is to keep Rapunzel locked up away in her tower forever so that she can constantly use Rapunzel's magical hair to stay young. Like, that's her goal. Like, she wants her away forever and ever. So then why wouldn't she have given her like a fake birthday? Like, just change it up a little bit? Because really, I think she's the one to blame for Rapunzel's curiosity because she started making that connection a little bit. And just following up with that for our next point, she decided to hide the princess in the tower right beside the kingdom where she was taken. Like, I've never kidnapped anybody before, and I mean, that's a really serious issue. But if I was to, even though I wouldn't ever, you know, wouldn't you like bring them far from where you took them? But then you also have to think, like, how did the king's guards not find her when she was so close? Like, didn't they search the kingdom far and wide? It was only hidden by a few vines. And the tower is, I mean, humongous. It's pretty obvious, right? So isn't that, like, how did they not find that? The next one is, how does Rapunzel know how to swim? This one just blows my mind so much. Someone who has been locked in a tower for their whole life is gonna have some, you know, disadvantages in the outside world. I mean, think about it. She had only felt grass under her feet like a few hours ago. Like, she had only seen and felt grass for the first time just like mere hours before, and now all of a sudden she can swim. Makes a lot of sense. The next three are some sort of bad morals the movie might teach kids. The first one says, the movie teaches kids that getting old is every woman's biggest nightmare. Because think about it, for Mother Gothel, getting older is like the worst thing. She wants to stay away from it. She even kidnapped somebody to not get old. Like, that is drastic. That is such a drastic thing to do to a poor little child, just to not get older. And yeah, girls watching aren't meant to like relate to Gothel, like you're supposed to not like her, so I get that. But it still lets out a bit of a statement that growing old is like not a good thing. It should be avoided at all costs. The next thing the movie likes to let out pretty clearly is, you should always trust a man you just met, especially if he offers to help you run away. Sounds really safe, right? I mean, imagine if that happened in real life. Like, a guy came to my door and he's like, hey, like, follow me. I'd be like, I'm gonna call the cops. And the last one is that when you finally gain independence, it's best to get married right away. Yeah, you know, she spent the better part of her 18 years living in a tower with her addict mother. Don't you think when she was rescued and was finally like out in the world, she could have spent some time with herself, getting to know the world, getting to know her own, you know, her being. You know, maybe seek a therapist, travel a little bit, and then, you know, bunk her down and marry the dude. Enjoy your newfound freedom, you know what I mean? Anyway, so those are some of the things that I found that most people think is weird about the movie, but I always want to close this off with a good note because honestly, I really did enjoy the movie. I thought it was so hilarious. Like, I don't always laugh throughout Disney movies, but I really enjoyed this. It was really comedic and enjoyable, and I love adventure movies. Like, anytime someone's on an adventure, I'm like, yes! So definitely watch it if you have not seen it. These are just, I mean, if you ever look at a movie and try and be logical about it, there's always gonna be something wrong because you're supposed to look at a movie in disbelief, like suspending your disbelief, because it's fake. It's not actually happening. Someone thought about it in their mind. So these videos are just like funny to think about it logically, you know what I mean? But definitely comment down below if you can think of any other ones you want me to cover. And yeah, don't forget about the meet and greet link. That is down below in the description as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and I will see you in my next one. Bye!